Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Entrepreneurial Agenda in Schools. I am Liz Jackson, your host, and I will begin by acknowledging the Wangal clan, the traditional custodians of the land on which I am on today, and pay my respects to elders past and present. I extend that respect and gratitude to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are listening to this recording. So I have with me a serial founder, Tara Jacobson, who has over 25 years of experience in innovation education as well as regional business growth. As the co-founder of GrowE, an innovation education organisation, she also lectures in entrepreneurship, innovation, strategy, decision-making and creativity for a number of leading Australian institutions. Tara, not only that, you are also undertaking your PhD on social entrepreneurship capital at the University of Southern Queensland. That is a mouthful, definitely. I would like to welcome you, Tara, before I go into some recent achievements. And I'd like to ask, what land are you on and what land are you coming from today?
Thanks, Liz. It's great to be here. Basically, I'd like to acknowledge the country that I'm from, which are the traditional custodians of the Sunshine Coast, the Kabi peoples and the Jinnabara peoples.
Wow, thank you for that acknowledgement. Now, recent achievements. I do know that two of your young mentees, 15-year-olds, have won an innovation program award on the Sunshine Coast. And to my understanding, it's through the Generation Innovation Award and the Mayor's Telstra Innovation Awards. Tell me if I'm wrong and tell us a little bit about that achievement.
Yeah, we have two of those programs running on the Sunshine Coast each year, and generally there's entrants from around 15 to 20 years old. But this year, the winner of the Mayor's Innovation Awards and Generation Innovation, two separate students from high schools here on the coast, were 15. The winner of the Generation Innovation won $10,000 in seed funding, which is pretty significant for a 15-year-old. And both of those mentees I was their mentor, so it's very exciting.
Wow, that's amazing. $10,000 in seed funding. Are you allowed to give away what their business ideas were?
Absolutely. So the one that won Generation Innovation is a surf wax. She was very much about not putting chemicals in the ocean, so a petrochemical free surf wax, because 97% of them have got chemicals in them, and also changing the connotation of surf wax. And the other one was a bird bell, which actually emits an alarm to keep birds away when you're riding your bike to school.
Wow, I love what young people come up with, and it's so interesting what their passions are. They're quite diverse. Now, the reason we're here today is to talk about the Diploma of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, which we'll go into some more detail about in a moment. But to set the scene around this specific topic, teachers and school leaders around the country quite often ask the question around how to provide additional attainment opportunities for their senior students in innovation and entrepreneurship, really looking specifically at how to embrace excellence in this space and look at the pathway opportunities for their young people, whether it be through industry or university. So we're really looking here at the entrepreneurial capabilities that are in high demand within industry, where our young people can earn credentials to help them be guided into careers in a range of different industries, to set them up for the changing nature of life and work. To support our young people, we really look at creating and developing the required skills to help support them on their various pathways, not only into work, but further education. So the Diploma of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, Tara, I know that it is a national qualification with 11 units that are studied over 18 months. Can you just give a brief overview of the outcomes of the Diploma of Entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, the Diploma of Entrepreneurship is just, I guess, the qualification that they get as an outcome. The program itself, which is NOE, wraps around a whole lot of other things in support of the school and the industry as an outcome for the students. So really we're looking at giving students in grade 11 and grade 12 more choice. There's a lot of middle school entrepreneurship programs that happen here in Queensland, which is fantastic, but then they kind of ram up into year 11 and 12 and it all sort of stops. And so for this program is about helping them continue that, as well as then giving them choices at the end of grade 12. So this qualification and program in general will allow them to fast track to university. We do a lot of work with industry networks and relationships and helping them create some pathways to industry, as well as also start up their own business, pitch for investment, and potentially get a business to market with real business skills as well. It's not just about, pitching a startup idea.
What an amazing opportunity for young people, because I know there's quite a significant investment in supporting young people with their startup ideas within the university and tertiary education sector. But what a wonderful opportunity is for young people to be able to gain exposure to those same opportunities and potentially be able to take their business idea to market. Now, I want to just tease that out a little bit more in terms of the future thinking skills. We look at things like critical and creative thinking. You mentioned building industry networks as well as young people developing their own startup peer network. Are you able to talk a little bit about the industry partners as well as the tertiary partners that are involved in supporting this initiative?
Yeah, I'm actually a parent of 4 teenagers myself. I actually had my stepson graduate today from high school, which is very exciting. But one of the things I really find with them is that, this is why I'm doing my PhD in the concept of social capital, is teenagers have no industry network. If they're trying to decide what job that they want, or they don't necessarily have a network of people they can go and talk to say, what do you do? What's your job? So they can kind of get an exposure to what might be a space they want to work in. And it's really difficult choice to make at the end of grade 12. So for us, this 18 months is very much about exposing them to as much industry connections as they can, learning how to have conversations around that. And also exploring the whole concept of the UN Sustainability Development Goals and actually looking at how they can create a startup that really solves a problem for the world, and giving them some of those underpinning business skills. They're also going to be learning with a peer network of other teams. So with the intent that then becomes their startup peer network. And so as they sort of might continue to develop their ideas, they've got people that have learned the same content and they can call on when they need the help.
Certainly extremely valuable, knowing and understanding the capability and the skills and the networks within the broader innovation ecosystem. What a wonderful opportunity for young people to be able to gain exposure to like-minded individuals who may be of similar age, but then being able to tap into that broader ecosystem that spans across a range of industries. Now, for year 11 and 12 students, are you able to paint a little bit of a picture around the recognition? We know that ATAR is a really strong measure of success for our young people. How does it support and how is it a complementary pathway? Because I know a lot of people mention it as alternative, as another way into the university, but let's focus on the complementary avenue that it provides young people in gaining access to university as a pathway.
Yeah, so for example, one of our partners is QUT, and they'll recognise this diploma because it's a nationally accredited qualification on their early entry offers at an ATAR of 87. So they'll have a choice of any of the qualifications that QUT offers that offer ATARs of 87, and as long as they meet the other entry requirements. So even engineering, if physics is, and they have physics as an entry requirement, they could potentially go into this with this qualification. But if they're going into a diploma of business that, for example, they potentially could get a whole range of credits as well. Again, depends on the degree and what choices they might be choosing with their electives, but this will give them that sort of pathway, potentially could save themselves in some HECS fees as well. But again, this is just an option. They could still be going to university as well as working on their little side hustle or their startup at the same time, as well as having connections into industry to potentially do some internship and gain some skills as they go through university as well.
What a wonderful opportunity this is to really demonstrate that entrepreneurship and innovation is a viable career pathway for young people into life and work opportunities, and it's really great to see more of these initiatives available. So let's move straight to the call to action. I know within coming up in 2023 on the 10th of December, you've got applications that close for your first round. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. So our first round enrolments will close on the 10th of December for 2023 enrolments for Year 11 students going into Year 11 next year.
And how do people find out a little bit more about it, the opportunity that's available? You've got some information sessions coming up and some video information. You've got information on your website. Can you tell me a little bit more about how they're able to gain access to those additional sessions?
Oh, look, there's lots of ways. We've got an Eventbrite link there that they can click on and they can book into an information session, which they're virtual and we're running one every week right up until the enrolment cutoff. Look, and at the end of the day, they can also click on an expression of interest form on our website, and that would come through to a direct, booking with me if that, if they want to talk specifically about some questions that might relate to their school or their students.
Great. And I know that schools do like to plan ahead, and there are a lot of schools who are thinking more broadly around developing innovation strategies to better support their students. So looking at, say, 2024 and beyond, around the notion of being able to embed this within the curriculum offering of the school, what are the opportunities to help teachers build their capacity in supporting the, I guess, sustainability and scalability of this program?
Yeah, so we're already talking to schools now about 2024, and their intent is to actually plan the Diploma of Entrepreneurship and Innovation within the timetable so that students can choose it as an elective. And essentially that we're also talking to schools about some teachers that have expressed some interest in doing the Diploma of Entrepreneurship and Innovation themselves, so that we can actually kind of co-teach with them as we deliver the program, on that timetable within the schools. So we're already having those conversations with schools for 2024 right now.
Wow, that's really exciting, because I know the important impact that our teachers have on our young people, and the fact that there is an opportunity to build teachers' capacity in this space is, I think, really important for that, as I mentioned, ongoing sustainability of embedding innovation in the fabric of the school culture, and helping the schools being able to provide these offerings to students that sit alongside every other offering. And you did focus earlier on in our conversation around choice, and I think it is important to expand the offerings and create a space where young people can choose entrepreneurship or innovation as a pathway they'd like to pursue. Now, Tara,
well, and it applies to every career too. Which, sorry, I was just thinking, I have parents say to me, "How is entrepreneurship and innovation even a career?" It actually applies to every career, and it will in the next 10 or 20 years, I think. So,
and I'm glad you touched on that. That is so important, because I quite often get asked the same question as well. And I think what you touched on there is that the innovative mindset and the innovative culture and the focus of Australia as a nation is really moving in this direction. And I think it is definitely going to be a skill set that every individual, not just young people, are going to need moving forward. So, Tara, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you sharing what you're offering, and I think you're doing amazing work to support entrepreneurship and young people be able to gain access to the skills that they need to be able to impact Australia's workforce into the future. So I will make sure that all the links are available that were mentioned in the presentation today. And please, if you're interested in finding out more, either connect with Tara on LinkedIn or follow the links that are provided below. Thanks again for your time, Tara.
Thanks, Liz. Bye.